Well, hey everybody, and it's that time. Yeah, we're getting ready to do vulnerability. How do we peel back those layers? How do we learn how to trust? Better yet, how do we learn to stop sabotaging our happiness? All of this is done by having faith in yourself and learning how to rethink the way you're doing things. Now, I am having to be on my phone because for some reason, I just don't know what's going on with my computer. It does not seem to be wanting to do this video at all from without muffling it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this, and I'm sharing this now to my page so everyone knows. Come join in. I'm going to type this in as I share it. Come. Wow, I'm just not doing this well, am I? Okay. All right, so we're here again. It looks like we got one person tuned in. So, self-sabotaging, trusting, gaining insight into your life. How do we trust? I mean, honestly, really, how do we trust? It's scary, isn't it? So, what I'm going to do, and I'm going to need y'all's help here, is I'm going to go onto my page, and I'm going to mute this, but I'm going to watch it. By doing that, then maybe I can see the questions as they're being asked, because I'm just not seeing it. Oh, hang on one second, guys. Bear with me. I'm having technical difficulties, and it's not funny. Really, it's not. This is insane. Okay, so can anyone share? That would be great. Share this. Let me go back into Healing Hands. I think that's part of my problem. I thought I shared to my personal page, but apparently I didn't. Okay, so I don't see anyone commenting. Has anyone shared this yet? If you have, please do. I could really use your help here. Technical difficulties. Me and technical difficulties today, seriously. All right, so we're going to do a lot today. We got a lot to cover, so be prepared for this. A lot to cover. We're going to go over vulnerability. We're going to go over a lot of different things that need to be gone over, things that we need to focus in on our lives to become healthier. And there's the video, right? Oh, I see what I did. I shared it to this page. I don't want to share it to that page. I want to share it to my timeline. So let me see what I can do here, guys, so that so others can find it. We're going to share it to my timeline. And that's, oh well. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I shared it. Everyone knows it's going on, and I'm going to mute this. I'm going to go to my timeline, and then hopefully I can see the questions as you're giving them, because I had a lot of hard time with this last time, and I just don't understand what is going on. Facebook is just not really being very kind to me, is it? So, okay. So we are live, as we've discussed this, right? Okay. So hopefully it will let me see any questions as they come up. All right, so we're going to start going on how to trust. Is that not our biggest thing? Learning how to trust? Yes. All right, so you got to first learn how to let go of your fear. That is the biggest thing. And that is how you peel back layers. First, it's getting to know somebody. And it's trusting yourself to get to know somebody. And letting somebody get to know you is not an easy task. It is not easy at all, because what you're doing is you're telling somebody, hi, I like you, but I don't know if I'm ready to trust you. And that is a big thing. And I think we got some glare coming from the back here, so I'm going to ask you to bear with me while I close that. And I think that helps, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Okay. So here you go. Again, you have to learn, hey, Vaughn. Anyways, you have to learn how to let go of things. And then to just get to know somebody. Getting to know somebody is the hardest part. It's making yourself vulnerable to somebody. And that is saying, hi, I want to get to know you, but I'm going to make some effort, and I'm going to put some effort into getting to know you. And this is the biggest problem. And that is that it seems like there's always only one person, in some cases, making an effort. One will forget to text and say hi or make the effort. And that is where you have to peel back your own layers and say, if you really want to get to know somebody, it's up to you to put your best foot forward and text the person, say hi, let them know you're thinking about them. And that's a really big step, because why does somebody want to make themselves vulnerable to you if you're not going to make yourself vulnerable to them? So it's kind of a two-way street there. So back to making yourself vulnerable and peeling back some layers. There's so much into that, and that is communication is a big key. Communicating always and not having someone second guess your true nature of what you want from them, because you know something, none of us are mind readers. And if you don't communicate, then you don't have anything healthy, right? True story, guys. So this is what we're going to start looking at. First, it's learning how to trust. And it's not just learning how to trust somebody else, it's trusting yourself so that you can trust somebody else. And you have to let go of things, and you got to put your guard down. So to do that, here's some really good ways to find out if you're having issues with trust. One, do you fear rejection? Do you fear that they're going to ridicule you or tell you you're not good enough? Are you afraid of being wrong about somebody, putting yourself out there and getting to know them and then find that you're wrong? You know something? That's all of our fears. And God knows I'm guilty of that too. And then guilty of committing ourselves and having to follow through with something. And that's another thing. And that is following through is you want to get to know them. You got to let them get to know you. And you can't get upset if they don't get to know you if you're not opening that door for them. So again, there's your communication. And then the last is, are you afraid that someone's going to take advantage of you? All right, so then you got to ask yourself, why would you be fearing if someone's going to take advantage of you? Are you putting yourself in a position to where they will take advantage of you? Are you being overindulgent with them? Or are you just being yourself? Being yourself is such a great thing. I've met some amazing people, and in my years on this earth, we won't discuss how many, I found the most genuine of people is what keeps me going back, because I love a genuine heart. So don't stop being yourself because of fear. All right, and then there's just other things here that we really want to discuss that you could be doing. And you're not weak if you admit to yourself that you fear rejection. It's not being weak. It's being honest. And here's a little piece of information. I don't care who's out there. Everybody fears rejection. It's just some people, they show it. Some people, they don't. And some people, they run because they're that scared. and they don't stop to think about what they're doing until it's too late. So ask yourself, why are you afraid of rejection? Why are you afraid of opening yourself up? Have you been hurt? Were you cheated on? Did you meet somebody and they didn't meet up to your expectations? What do you expect from them? Are you putting your cards out on the table? See, there's a lot of different things making yourself vulnerable. And it's not to the point where you're making yourself where you can't trust that person, or you're not getting to know them. You don't have to open up your veins and bleed to make yourself vulnerable in the beginning when getting to know somebody. It's as simple as what we're doing right here. We're communicating. Hi, everybody. And please, I'm going to ask you now, all share this. Please share the event. Put it out there. Let everyone know we're live. And this is how we're going to get more people to come in and join. So I'm going to ask you, please share. Hit the share button. Thank you. All right. And there's other things. There's our beliefs. That holds us back. And I understand that. Whatever you believe, you attract it, right? So if you're being negative, what are you going to attract? Or if you're scared, you may attract people who are also scared. It's another thing. And you have to understand something else. Thank you, Yvonne. Is that it's not all about you. Oh, here we go. Now we're going to hit a nerve. It's not about us all the time. And it's not. It's about everybody involved. So we have to take our selfish hat off and remember that to be in a relationship, there's two people. And you have to remember to put them up there with you. And again, that's making yourself vulnerable. So it takes two people, and it takes two people to communicate. But for you to become vulnerable to that person, you're going to have to start talking to them. Here's another thing that's good for you, and that is to nurture yourself. Do something nice for yourself. Look after yourself. Show you're worth it. And that'll help. That will help give you the courage to move forward into something with somebody and allowing yourself to trust them. The last thing you want to do, and here's something I want you to think about. There's nothing worse than somebody, the moment you meet them, and they're telling you their whole life story. Oh my God, you know from the time they were born until right now. And you're like, you're on information overload with somebody. You don't have to do that. You don't have to disclose that much information to become vulnerable. It can be simple little things, and it's little things over time. It could be something that just came up and you find, wow, that meant something to me, and I want to share it with you. And share it and communicate with them. And you'll find yourself, and this is not just in relationships with a prospective or a spouse that you're with now because you're having problems. It's with anything in any type of relationship that you have. To maintain friendship, you have to have a good communication. Well, it's the same thing in any type of personal relationship. It's the same thing in any work relationship. Except you don't want to strip back too many layers on the job, okay? Let's separate that. Okay, so what are we going to do here? How do we rebuild trust if somebody's hurt you? So, as I asked you earlier, are you having issues because someone cheated on you? If that's the case, how do we rebuild trust to where we can let somebody in? And that's usually a big thing why a lot of people don't get into a relationship again, or they're hesitant, or they run, or they self-sabotage. Because they're afraid, and fear is such a big factor. So here we go. First off, here's going to be 4 steps to repair damaged relationships or damage within yourself from that broken relationship. You have to forgive yourself, first off. Beyond anything you do, forgive yourself. Because if someone cheated on you, stop blaming yourself for it. Okay, so-and-so may have a valid reason. Maybe you didn't pay enough attention to them at that time, and you weren't giving them what they needed in the relationship, so they left. Okay, they went with somebody else. It's over. You can't change it. We can't change back the hands of time because we're not timekeepers. However, we can start new. So, forgive yourself. It's okay. Learn from what happened and now forgive yourself. And remember that the next person is not your ex. Okay. So that way you're forgiving the other person, even though they never did nothing wrong. Or if it's the person you're trying to make amends with in a relationship, forgive them. It's impossible to regain trust without first regaining your emotional control and well-being by finding inner peace within yourself and the situation. So I want you to really think about that. Exactly. No overdoers. And then you have to trust yourself. And you have to trust the person. Oh my God, I know. I'm totally saying, oh, fair. I'm supposed to trust her. I don't know her well enough to trust her. And this one did this to me. And then she's going to do that to me too. No, stop. Stop. Not everyone's the same. And you can't categorize everyone the same. It's nearly impossible to trust someone else unless you first trust yourself, first off. And then the truth about trusting someone else is that the only certainty is that there is uncertainty. So you just have to trust it. You have to put faith in it. Peel back those layers. Communicate. And thank you for the heart, whoever did that. And please share. Remember, share, 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 share. Okay, now we're going to go into 7 easy steps. And while I'm thinking about it right now, while I'm talking and you can still hear me, please get a pen and get some paper. I'm sorry, I can't. Am I still frozen? Okay. I want you to get some pen and paper because we're going to do some exercises here together too. You know, Yvonne, I know it's hard at times. Do you know that the hardest thing we could ever do is within the first month of any relationship? The first month makes or breaks any relationship. And this is literally, it's a true story. And because that month you meet somebody. Girl likes girl, girl likes boy, boy likes girl. You know, whoever your gender is and whoever you love. And am I still frozen? Yvonne, am I still frozen? Somebody tell me if I'm frozen because I'm looking at myself and I'm not frozen. No? Okay. It's just yours, Vicky. Okay. So, back to what I was saying. And that is the first 30 days of a relationship. And that is that boy meets girl, girl meets boy, girl meets girl, boy meets boy. Again, whoever your attraction is to whoever it is. It's exciting, it's thrilling, it's amazing. And the chemistry and everything is there. And in that first 30 days, I mean, you're on this high. I mean, it's a real high. And it's like you're so excited and it's like you're giddy. And then all of a sudden, it's like someone just slaps you in the face because fear sets in. Are you getting that? Fear sets in. Why does fear set in? Well, it's that ugly thing that comes up within that, usually just the end of the 30 days, beginning into the second month. Because we're now making ourselves vulnerable. Being vulnerable is the scariest thing ever. Because we want to trust them, but we're scared. Do we trust and then do we get hurt? And we don't want to get hurt. No one wants to get hurt. But because we don't trust ourselves. And we don't trust them, but we haven't given them a chance. So instead of holding on to that person and saying, I'm going to be with you on faith, and let's communicate, somebody runs. and then somebody's left sitting there with their jaw on the floor. And it's so sad. We don't want to do that. So, again, remember, get your pens and get your paper. And while you're doing that, I'm going to go over some 7 easy steps. Okay? All right. So, here we go. There's different kinds of trust. Okay? There's trusting other people. And that's having confidence and faith that the decisions a person takes are based on love, consideration, and respect for you. And you can change that love to like, because at the beginning of a relationship, you really like a person. Not love, because you don't know them well enough to say you love them. Love doesn't happen overnight. That's lust. So get your terminology right. Let's not mix these up, because you don't fall in love overnight. Then the second is be kind to yourself and love you. Love yourself. First of all, be kind to yourself. Many people put blame on themselves. I'm weak. I should have never trusted this last person, so now I can't trust her. I shouldn't have done this, now I can't do this. See, you're placing blame. Love yourself enough to know it's okay to let go what happened in the past. It's okay. And, and it's our inherent nature to be good and trustworthy, but it's our also inherent nature to be to mistrust people. So you have to find on the different sides of the battle, which one do you prefer? Do you want to be able to trust somebody? Or do you want to be stuck in this loophole of not trusting and meeting wonderful people and having an opportunity to be happy and self-sabotaging it? And we're going to eventually go into self-sabotage. So, again, be ready. And here's our 1 through 7, and this is what I was just telling you. Believing that you are okay, that you're perfect as a whole the way you are. And can we improve a little bit? Yes, we can. We can always improve ourselves. Don't beat yourself up, though. No one can be complete because you are complete. Remember that. So you can't complete somebody else. No one can take any part of you because of how anyone can take that. Nobody can take a physical part of you or your soul. You can give them and share yourself, but they can't take that from you. You're sharing. Again, that's vulnerability. Again, I know that is so scary. I'm right there with you guys. 3 years. And we're learning, and we do learn, and we get this, and we're gonna get it. And this is something that even I struggle with. So it's okay. It's okay. And remember that there's exceptions you place on people that betray your trust. But you're still you, and you're still okay. You're a little wiser, maybe a little less trusting, and that's normal. It just makes you learn that we learn, and that's what life is. It's like these steps that we go up. And as we're taking each step up, sometimes we trip a little bit going up, and we have to regain our footing. And it is scary, exactly. The second, affirm your possibilities. Trust is a necessary component of human relationships. You need to trust. You can't enter a new relationship if you're still harboring the belief that the one you trusted before and the trust was broken. So this person is going to do the same thing to you. You can't do that. That's a lot to put on somebody, and that's not fair. You can't project your old relationships onto your new one. You have to put that behind you and take baby steps if you have to. Dating is a slow dance. There's no rush to the finish line. So let me ask you, and I want to be honest. Do you trust? Do you trust? Oh, wow, Vicky, okay. Do you trust? Or do you run? Do you trust yourself? Can you trust anyone else? Is that really true? Do you? Do you really trust yourself? Yes and no. With caution, great answer. And caution's okay. And it is okay. So, you have to think of it like this. I'm going to give you this little analogy, okay? Don't you trust, when you go to a restaurant, okay? I'm sorry, Lisa. But think about it when you go to a restaurant, you place an order. Someone brings you your food, right? You trust them to bring you your food. That's the same thing in every day. It's the same thing. You have to trust that the person that is sharing your personal space is the same as that waitress at the restaurant. They're bringing you something, and it may be delicious. Pun intended, okay? And then, at the end of the day, listen to your intuition. Listen to your spirit guides when you question a person's trustworthiness. Become very observant, but don't assume, okay? Become very observant. Again, guys, share this. Let's share. You're going to pay attention to, you don't get out much, Tanya, sorry. When you do get those little warning bells and your spirit guides are telling you something, be observant. Pay attention. See how they treat other people. How do they talk about others? Are they negative? Are they positive? Are they those type of people that you'd kind of say, I don't know, I don't really like that, but I really like them, so I can overlook it. Think about that one. Do they gossip and share other people's secrets? Those things I'm mentioning, those things are the little warning signs. Those are, but not the other things that you're fabricating in your head. Okay, gotcha. All right. Now, number 5 of this is what you think about comes about. Oh my goodness, that's a whole story. You hear about self-manifestation? We manifest our lives. So if you think about something long enough, or if you think that something's not going to work out, 9 times out of 10, it won't, because you're going to manifest it. You don't realize you're manifesting it. You don't realize you're forcing this into this to happen. But guess what? You do. You're forcing this to happen just because you're focusing on it. And it's sad. Exactly, Vicki. If you dwell on it, it's going to happen. Now, I want you to think about this. There you go, see? That's a good thought, Vicki Woodall, because we got 2 Vickies, remember that. I want you to think about this. Believe that you deserve a trusting relationship. I want you to think about this. Believe you deserve a trusting relationship. Believe it. Because guess what? You do. And that's a fact. You deserve a trusting relationship. You can meditate on the fact that you cannot control another person's actions if you need to. You got to trust yourself, though. Because fear of vulnerability, that's allowing yourself to trust again. And trusting is hard. Exactly. Always see someone self-sabotage. Exactly. So, here we go. I want to touch on some things here. And then I got some homework stuff that I'd like us to do together. And I got these tabs, so bear with me a second. Okay. And this is going to be our self-sabotage, okay, guys? All right. First, I'm going to go over a couple things. All right, self-sabotage. That's really what it boils down to at the end of the day. Because how do you make yourself vulnerable if you're so busy running and you're sabotaging any chance to make yourself vulnerable? Because you're fear of failure, fear of taking risks, fear of making a mistake. You worry constantly about that relationship. Should I trust her? Should I not trust her? Is she worth trusting? Is she going to hurt me? Constantly judging ourselves or others. That's what that boils down to. Constantly comparing yourself to others. Am I like this, or is she like that? There we go. Perfectionism. Oh my goodness. How many people want this perfect person? Good luck with that. Limiting your beliefs, emotions, and attitudes. I did give examples of vulnerability. And we'll kind of go through that again. Let me see something here. In the meantime, what I want is the triggers. There's triggers, and that's where you create yourself. And there's practical ideas. Now, I do have something, and I'll send it to y'all. It's kind of something you can read, kind of what we did on the first session. And I really would like you guys to look it over. I think it's well worth it, and I definitely will send it. And I was just going to kind of go through that, and it's sabotaging. And it's sabotaging your happiness is what it is. And so let's look at this here. Let's look at how do we stop sabotaging and hurting our relationships. Who wants to go through that? This is homework, so you're going to listen up. First, observe your behavior without judgment. So, the second you find yourself in a relationship and you find that you're getting that little heart pounding, do I want to? Can I trust her? Should I trust her? Oh my God, what to do? Write it down. Write down how you're feeling, how you're acting. Once you do that, you find roots in your behavior. And you can identify your triggers. Triggers are such a big thing. Little things that go off in your head that they established maybe in childhood. Retrace your steps and remember what happened before you began reacting. It could be that. I mean, this is stuff you can do for yourself. Examine when you are most susceptible. So, because it's unconscious. And chosen a partner who reminds you of someone in your past, people do that as well. So, if your emotional reactions to you, our partners, is similar, is what you experienced before, you're automatically going to behave the same way you did then. So you have to break your cycles. Get away from it. Start change your behavior. And that'll help with those triggers that are causing you to self-sabotage to where you're not allowing yourself to become vulnerable to somebody. And that way you're getting a new vision. You're seeing things in a different way. You're identifying and you're leaving those bad behaviors behind. Now, this is all part of self-sabotaging, Tanya, and being vulnerable, because you have to identify all this so that you can peel back those layers and let yourself trust somebody again. If you have to, find a support system. Anyone who will support your commitment to stay honest and remain objective. Good friends. Good friends will do that for you. And just remember to stay focused in what the big picture is and what you're doing so that you can have that. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to start working for yourself. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Leanne. Yeah. Definitely sorry. So, then I have where I told you to get your pens ready. so we can shed some layers. If you have to, and this is something you're all going to say, what? Okay. Let's shed some layers from our old feelings. Are you ready? They're really simple things. Oh, absolutely. Okay. Start journaling. Write things down. Write your emotions, your habits, things that you hold back, things that you feel pressure to, things that make you want to run. And write the negativity down. Write how you feel. Meditate. Here we go. Back to the old key. Let's meditate. Right? Find a healing practice for yourself. Something that will allow you to find relaxation, yoga, anything like that. Take a break from social media if you need to, honestly. But don't take a break from me, because I need you guys here too, because you guys need me, and we all need each other here. So. Read uplifting books. Anything on self-help. Seriously. You'd find so much stuff. There's one, and it's called Peace in Every Step. And there's another one called The Four Agreements. And there's another one called The Way of the Peaceful Warrior. And that one is by Dan Millman. Awesome book. And then we have the best thing that we could ever do for ourselves. Laugh, 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 laugh. Did you know you will live 10 years longer if you're a happy person? Just laugh. Enjoy. Enjoy life. Stop keeping things so bottled up. Okay, so then by doing all that, you will be able to let go of pain, because you're recognizing it. You're recognizing what you're doing and what you're bringing to that table. And you can let it go. You'll know how to resist it. You'll know how to avoid it. You'll know how to stop running, and you'll know how to become vulnerable in saying, I can trust you. So I'm going to trust you, and I'm going to give you little things. Little. Remember what I talked about information dumping? Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself, and don't do it to that person, because you want to see them put on their running shoes and take off running. That is the best way to do it. Do not overload somebody with your personal life. It's something that it takes time for them to get to know you. It's like falling in love. You can't fall in love overnight. You like somebody, or you're in lust with them, one or the other, but there's no way you love them. You may have real strong emotional feelings. It's the same way with giving information. It's baby steps, little things here and there. And you'll let go of the bitterness and the resentment. Oh my goodness, here we go, back to resentment. Remember that. Resentment Sunday, that was last week. It's all part of it. How do you trust? How do you open up the layers? How do you peel it back if you don't do these things? Stop comparing yourself to others, guys. Guess what? You are unique. You are beautiful for who you are, the way you are. And if somebody can't appreciate that in you, then they're blind. They're missing out on something so amazing. Now, if you're not happy with yourself, hey, I'm the first one to say, I love to work out. Why? Because I look in the mirror and I say to I'm my own worst critic. And I am. Because I feel like I should look a certain way. And it's a vanity thing. I'm a fan. Okay, it's a vanity thing. I want to be toned. But that's me. But here we go. Start letting go of expectations. What does that mean? Is we expect things from a certain people. We want them to weather their weather reports is what we want. We want them to do this, and we want them to do that. And we got to stop doing that. Not everyone is your Mr. Right. Not everyone is your Mrs. Right. They're not going to be a certain height. They're not going to be a certain profession. They're not going to be a specific personality. You have to be open to magic of possibilities. But stop being so rigid in what you want. Sometimes if you peel back the layers enough and allow yourself to trust, you'll find that person is perfect for you. But don't go get jumping into a relationship with somebody unhealthy now. I mean, that's not what I'm telling you to do. If they're volatile, always let your inner voice know that if somebody is not going to give you the best of who they are, and if they are negative, if they're very negative people, then you don't want that. So that is something you definitely want to take note of. And another thing, let go of being tough. Oh my God, there's nothing worse. And I'm sorry, but most butch women, and I'm going to pick on y'all. Got it? Okay. You have to act this tough exterior. I'm a butch. I'm this. I'm this. I'm that. I'm tough exterior. Oh, honey, if I cut you, you're going to bleed. And you're going to bleed the same color. If I hurt your heart, you're going to cry. You may not do it in front of somebody, but you're going to cry. Hey, Yvonne. If that kind of stings a little bit, cough. So let go of being tough. And the stronger and more closed you are to others, the less likely someone else will hurt you again. But the less likely you're ever going to find somebody and be happy. So, there you go. Changing a few things, guys. Here we go. All right. And stop telling someone the same story over and over and over again. People get so tired of hearing the drawn out things. You know, the story that sad story repeatedly someone tells to friends. You know what I'm talking about? A love gone wrong. A love soured. A love that fell apart. What if that story simply wasn't true? So, there are many perceives, there are many stories in every relationship, and no one wants to hear the same thing over and over again. So, stop being repetitive. Start telling them other things. Tell them your favorite color. Tell them dreams. What do you want to do a year from now? That's part of being vulnerable. It's opening yourself up a little bit. You don't have to do a whole bunch of it. You don't have to info dump to become vulnerable. You share. Just share. Let your heart share. But you're not giving your heart. You're giving a little bit of who you are. And guess what? That's okay. All right, guys? Now, we already went over this. Okay. I'm going over a couple things here because I got some homework I want you guys to do with me. Oh, here's 7 key things I want you to remember. Forgiveness is a healthy choice. Choosing is not forgive, it's an option. Remember that. So holding on to hate is toxic. And it distresses and it causes everyone to be physically and emotionally drained and vulnerable. And it causes illness as well. Choosing not to forgive, again, that's an option. When the offender is unremorseful, unwilling, or unavailable, you can still heal yourself. It takes effort because you don't have closure. But you can go on. Yeah, I'll get to it. Ooh, I'm going to make you hold off now, Yvonne. Forgiving and forgetting are different, and I will remember that. Forgive yourself first. And forgiveness is hard work, and I need you to remember that. It must be earned, which requires accepting responsibility. Uh-oh, here we go. Accepting responsibility, understanding why the violation occurred, and listening deeply. All of this takes time and desire from you. And remember, error is to be human. Imagine that. Error is to be human. Now, I have it here. Give me a minute. I'll get to it. Now we're going to go ahead and have some fun. We're going to start doing some things here, okay? our exercises, and I got it here with me. We're going to play a few things. All right, so what is your core vulnerability? Write it down. You don't have to share it. Write it down. Missy, I work with a lot of more self-help because I'm not doing therapy. Being a life coach is totally different. It's in your face. It's not really, I'm not going on with that. But I'll talk with you about that later. Okay, so again, Tanya, write it down. What is your core vulnerability? Can it make you love better? Are you scared of letting someone near to you? Are you scared of a relationship? Are you scared someone may hurt you? What is your vulnerability? Write it down. Don't share it on here. This is just for you. And then the next, I want you to write down what you dread. What are your fears? No matter how likely they are to happen, they may never happen. I don't care. Write it down. They may be directly, indirectly. They could cause harm, cause you to be isolated. Which are you? Now, once you're done with that, I want you to briefly describe, and again, don't add it on here, this is just for you. Briefly describe a problem in your relationship or past relationships. What has been the main problem? And how did that problem cause you to feel deprived or isolated or fear? If you're currently in a relationship, describe on that same paper problems that you're having in your relationship on both sides and look at it from both sides. Put on this side you, put that on that side her, and be open. Be open to the fact that we're not perfect and we have to own parts of this relationship and parts of the problem. She acted this way. Why did she act this way? Did I not listen to her? Did I not trust her? And then ask yourself, can I trust? Can I rely on another person? And if it's no, why not? And those are just the little things that I wanted you to write down as exercises. And then I want you to play with that. I want you to come to affirming answers. I want you to sit back and say, okay, this was a problem. So why is this a problem? Okay, so she cheated on me. We got into an argument. We had a disagreement. Why? Takes two. Were you listening? Was she listening? Have you sat down and had a conversation with her about it? Have you avoided the you? Remember, we discussed that last week, using the word you. Now, back to our original thing, and that is, Tanya, thank you. Peeling back those layers. Oh my goodness. Shedding the layers. Again, you want to Journal, meditate, find a healing practice within yourself, take a break from social media, and read uplifting books. Those few things will help you to where you're becoming in tune with yourself, because journaling will help you understand how you feel. Journaling will help you look back and say, maybe I was being kind of unfair. Or maybe I'm sharing all this in my journal, but I have not shared this. So how do we do that? Again, and I'm closing this, it's the trust. It's starting off little things. So how do we shed back the layer of our insecurity? So we're having this conversation like we are right now. And anyone can ask me a question right now. Please do. Ask me a question. Something that you want to know. And then I'll answer it. Now, guess what I've just done? I've peeled the layer back. I've opened up to you. And that's how we shed. It's one layer at a time, one piece at a time. It's not an overnight process. It's trusting yourself and letting that person get a free ride from your past mistakes. Someone else's hurts that they've caused you. And that's how we do it. It's simple. Now remember, and I'm going to say this again, this is not a therapy session. This is life coaching. Life coaching is totally different. We're in your face. We take all of the information that's available and we use it to help us now. This does not mean don't go into therapy, because if you have underlying issues, things that you need to get to the bottom, which I'm sure we all do at one time or another in our lives, don't be afraid to get it. I know several people. I have some of my really good friends are psychologists. And as you know, this is what I'm going for myself. Leanne, you asked me why I write. Exactly, Vicki. Why do I write? Oh my God. Oh, I can't imagine not writing. One, it pulls me. I have these voices, these characters, they just want to be heard. But I want to be heard. So if you want the true answer why I write, I want to be heard. I want to, what I got to say is important, even if it's in fiction. But remember, where there's fiction, there's always some fact. And I am in every single one of my characters. And anyone who knows me can pick a sentence out, can pick certain things out, and know that's me. And it's a way of healing. If someone makes me mad, and when I write a mystery novel, yeah, I kill them off. And I do. Okay, so how do we get someone to be trusting of us? That's a great question. Yeah, right. There's nothing, that's journaling, Tanya. Journal. We can't force somebody to trust us. We can't force somebody to open up to us. What we can do is we can make ourselves vulnerable to them and show that they can trust us. And then maybe they're going to be willing to allow a few layers to get peeled back. I mean, it's give and take. Okay, so you journal. There you go. And how does it make you feel when you journal, Tanya? Do you feel like you've accomplished something? Do you feel better? Yes, it is, Vicki. It's a healing release. And that is why I write. I feel better when I write. See, and you feel better. Do you ever go back and reread what you write and it helps you understand what's going on with you at that moment? So you're trying to peel back the layers now, Leanne? Oh, I like that. That is really interesting, Tanya. Have you ever thought just to put a stamp on it and send it? I challenge you. Take one of those letters, put it in an envelope, and send it. And Leanne, if you want someone to trust you, you're going to have to trust them. And it's just baby steps, remember that. It's baby steps. It's a slow dance, and that's what it is. You can't believe that you felt that way, Yvonne? In what way is that? Can you elaborate? I've done that when I journal. I've read back to what I've written, and I've realized I was being dishonest with myself and that I wasn't being fair to the other person when I was able to read back and literally take myself outside of the box and look at it as what it is. And that's another thing that you'll need to do if you really want to be vulnerable to somebody and them be vulnerable with you. And that is remove yourself and look at the situation. Walk in their shoes. They have moccasins. Wear their moccasins for a while and don't be afraid. See, yeah. See, there you go. That sounds good. Are you excited about that? I mean, are you feeling like you could do that, Tanya? Yeah, working through anger is such a big thing. Me, I'm going to tell you something. This is what I'll do when I get angry. And anyone who knows me really well knows I'll pick up a phone and I'll vent. When I get mad, I vent. And I vent. And I'll call someone and I'll say, okay, da 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 da. I had someone today, and I'm not gonna say who it was, that remind me never to make you angry. I'm actually a pussycat. I just needed to vent. I was angry earlier today, and I needed to vent. And then I was able to calm it down, and then I was good. And then I was like, not a big deal. But it wasn't how it felt at the moment. So. Okay, and you know something, Tanya? I think that's the same with everybody. And that is when we're feeling something and our emotions and we're on this emotional high. And so it's so easy to go ahead and write something down or feel this way or say something and everything's so jumbled up and it's like, holy crap. And then you sit back and you're like, that makes no sense at all. What was I thinking? Oh my God, yeah. You're not alone, my friend. Not at all. You are not alone. Yeah, I like to vent. I'm a venter, and I am. When I get angry, I'm a venter. Exactly, and you need that, and you need people. And here you go. What did I do? When I call up my friends and I vent, what am I doing, guys? What am I peeling back? I'm peeling back layers because I'm trusting somebody enough to be privy to my emotions. Do you know that takes a lot to give of yourself that way? And if you have a really good friend, someone you can talk with and that you can trust and they can trust you, man, pay attention to that relationship because that's the type of relationship you want with a partner. Someone who you can go to and you can talk to and you feel confident. But remember, you're friends with this person. How long did it take to build that friendship? It's no different in a relationship. To learn how to get to that level of a friendship and trust that person explicitly, it takes time. And in a relationship, it takes time. But you have to get to know them. And they have to get to know you. I'm sorry, Tanya. You know something? You can always PM me. You got something on your mind? PM me. I think we're friends, don't you? I'll listen to you. I have one, and I have two. I got two ears. You can bend them. I know that I couldn't live without my friends and people to talk to when I need to talk to somebody. I mean, if it's not a really good time at that very second, it's okay. I'll say, hey, I got this going on, but is it okay if we talk later? Or maybe I got 2 minutes. Oh my goodness. See, I pay attention to what you said. Plus, no one understands me. You are doing some of the fundamental things I just mentioned here. And that is, you are already putting these walls up saying, I can't be trusted. I can't trust anybody. You need to stop that now because you can. And I promise you, you can. I'm glad you joined in too. And we are done, actually. It is now, I know I'm a busy girl, but I can always make time for a friend. But it is 7 o'clock, so we are done. In closing, remember, please share this. Let people know. Share, share, share. And that's how we're going to build. And, I mean, this is great for all of us. Because maybe I'm feeling down one day. And by going over topics with y'all and so forth, it helps me. So what I want you to do is I have a list of topics. I haven't decided what I'm going to do next yet, but I will. I'll post it in the page in the next day or two what we're going to go over. And if you have anything you'd like to discuss, PM me because I'll be happy to go over it with y'all. Definitely, definitely. And thanks, Leanne. I'm glad. Oh, you're welcome. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say goodnight, everybody. I have a paper to write, so I need to get some work done. I walked this year, remember, so I'm done. Thank goodness. Waves. Bye. Have a good night, everyone.